What's going on, everybody? Your boy Solo Games here, and I'm here at the World Championship Qualifier 2024, and I'm with Mr.
Christopher Lembo right here.
And this gentleman, we had a wonderful match, I think round 4, right?
Yeah, it was round 4.
And he's playing the most spiciest deck in the room. No Fiendsmith, no Snake Eyes, no Yabel. And if you do not hand trap him to death, you will get bodied to death.
That's facts.
So, before we go into the list, any shout-outs?
So I want to shout out all my friends. I want to shout out Jeremy, Ryan, Mike Albanese. I want to shout out Salad Boys. I wanted to shout out Tier 1 Games, my local. You know, my friend Anthony who helped me get here today. Probably missing a few, but who's our friend who was also on Agents and Julian. Well, I want to shout out Julian. I don't know, his name was escaping me at the moment. But, yeah, it's definitely Julian. I showed him this deck earlier, and he liked the list, so maybe you can get another feature match with it. That'd make me really happy.
Okay, so before we get into the actual list, one more thing. So why'd you play this deck, and what did you play?
So I played Melodious Agents, and the reason why I played it is because I've been playing this deck for 2 years throughout every single version of the deck, starting off with like the Scythe Lock, when you had it with Halki Fibrax, and then with Sprite Elf. And honestly, like, I really like archetypes that kind of like have I like it when old archetypes get new support. So it's kind of like a lot of fun to do that. And nothing in this deck really locks you into anything. So even though it does have its mainstream combos, if you get like hand trapped and stuff, depending on where you get hand trapped, you can really like change the situation to the point where like getting hand trapped is like not a problem. Like in our game when you nibbed me, I was able to keep playing. Even after I got nibbed, so it was pretty good. And so there's there's a lot of unique interactions. But yeah, you want to get into the list?
Let's jump right in.
All right, so I'm gonna go over the standard cards pretty quickly. If you're familiar with older formats, you'll recognize these cards. We're playing 3 Agent of Earth, Agent of Mystery Earth. Self-explanatory, you normal summon it, you get an agent, and then if you control Sanctuary, you can get Master Hyperion. This is one of the new ones, 3 Agent of Life Neptune. This came out in Ghost of the Past 2. This whole deck came out, or the core of the deck came out Ghost of the Past 2. And what this does is, it's a level 1 fairy, light, and you can discard it to special summon an agent monster from your deck to hand. So usually what you want to do is you usually add it off of this or there's other ways to get it to your hand. And when it's banished, you can go ahead and search for Sanctuary in the Sky. So that's really important. People might think like, oh, Sanctuary in the Sky, it's just like a dumb field spell that prevents you from taking battle damage. But literally almost all the cards in the deck require you to have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field to get like an additional effect or a better effect. So we play 3 Venus. This is pretty standard. Special summon Shine Balls but paying 500. Pretty self-explanatory. You can search it off for Earth. And this is like your main way to you combo really hard. Play 3 Shine Balls. Kind of a brick if you draw into them, but you can play around it. And basically you need to play 3 in order to be able to combo. Yeah, not really much else to say about that. So now we're gonna get into the one-ofs. 1 Nemesis Corridor. With this card, is nice. You can search it off of Cupid Pitch when you synchro, since Earth is a tuner. We're gonna get into this later, but since Earth is a tuner, you can sync into Cupid Pitch, and then when Cupid Pitch, when you synchro with Cupid Pitch with another Shine Ball until level 8, you can search for a monster with 600 defense, and your primary target is going to be Nemesis Corridor. But if you already have the Nemesis Corridor, you can search out Neptune, because it also has 600 defense. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, sorry, I'm just getting cards jumbled up. So mainly you just use this to get into Thunder Dragon Colossus by bringing back your banished Neptune. You can banish it in several ways, but I'll go over a way that you banish it in a second. We play 1 the Ancient Uranus. You special summon it because you can control Sanctuary, and you can send Agent Monster from deck to grave that changes level to whatever you send. It can be good when you can go ahead and like change it, like send something you need in graveyard to summon with Neptune, but also it's also a nice extender. So like you can make, I usually make Dawn Dragster with it. I was originally using this to make Denlong, but it makes the deck a little brickier, and this deck doesn't need to be more bricky. But it's just a nice one of to have it as a good extension piece. Then we have the Agent of Destruction Venus, which is a dark agent. It's like the counterpart to the OG agent Venus, and you can use one of its 2 effects per turn. Its first effect is you can special summon it by banishing the OG Venus from grave. Second effect is you can pay increments of 500 life points to special summon Shine Balls from grave or are banished. And what's nice about this too is that you can actually play around Shifter with this too. So it's kind of nice if you can actually like summon it to the board via Neptune or some other or Celestial Network Parshaft we'll get to, which is nice. But usually you're sending this to graveyard with a Master Flare Hyperion to copy that effect. But we'll get into this later. Then we play the one OG Master Hyperion, self-explanatory. I don't really need to elaborate why this card's nice. It's a solid one of, don't play any more, don't play any less. Then we play Majesty Fiend. It's basically like OG Hyperion, but a little more interesting. You can summon himself from graveyard, unlike OG Master Hyperion, and he can banish a fairy monster from your graveyard to banish a card on your side of the field, banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. And it has a third wonky effect, whereas like any battle damage, a fairy monster, let's say you have like your battle, like there's like you attack into someone attacks into your like Earth, and they have 2,000 attack. So if this is face up on the field, you both will take 1,000, and that pairs with Sanctuary in the Sky. So the ruling is in regards to the Sanctuary in the Sky and this being on the field is that your opponent will take the damage. So I remember I had a guy who didn't know that and like tacked into this guy with the really big, I forget what it was. It could have been a Raging Phoenix, and he tacked into it. And I'm just like, well, you just lost the game because
that's the worst way to find out.
Yeah, and he said, I tried telling him, I was like, do you know what all my card says? He goes, yeah, my friend knows. My friend plays this deck all the time, so you know, I know what the cards do.
This ain't Edison.
Yeah, exactly. So, and when he did it, I was just like, I'm sorry, man, it's a scam. Anyways, moving on. So we're playing since it's agents, but we're playing a Melodious package. So we're playing 3 Refrain, Search of Melodious, and then Pen Scale. If it gets if there's a fusion summon of a Melodious, we bring it back from the extract to be a Pen Scale. I think people are pretty familiar with the Melodious cards, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We're playing 2 Couplet. A lot of people really like if they're playing a Melodious engine, only opt to play 1. But playing 2 Couplet, it can be a Garnet. But if you draw a 2 Couplet, then you can just fuse with the fusion spell that you search. And on top of that too, you can make a format Appaloosa before you go into your agent plays by bringing this back. Like let's say you have these in your scales, like you have this scaled up. So like you can use this effect and scale to target your Baccha or Schuberta, which we'll get to in a sec. Send the extra copy to deck, so when Baccha goes to grave, you can stuff summon the back. And then after the Pendulum Summon, you'll have 4 materials on the board for format Appaloosa. I think I did that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was that's pretty nice if you ask me. When was the last time you saw a format Appaloosa? You know?
It's usually just 2, just like as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But the format, now you know that like,
so
I got some negates.
So now we're playing. This is a little bit interesting. We're playing 3 Terra Top and then 1 Takaton board. Shout out to Jeremy for getting the ultis.
They're beautiful.
Thank you. It's German, but I think everyone knows what the card does. You control no monsters, special summon it, and then you can search for a speedwork card and you search Takaton board. What you do with this is you can make Cherubini, and then Cherubini will send as cost Venus to deck, so you can like use Neptune to bring it back. And also, Cherubini is randomly a fairy monster.
Yeah.
So you have literally any normal summon. You can go into Link 3 Celestial Network Parshaft to search literally any card in your deck that has Sanctuary in the Sky and stacks, and that's like most of your cards. So it's pretty nice.
So crazy. It's like kind of like a fairy pile deck, like
Yeah.
how the Fiend stuff became a Fiend pile deck, like Dragon Link deck.
Exactly. So, but I mean, I try to do well with this deck, but at the end of the day, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. We're trying to have fun, and if I do well with it, you know, it is what it is. So now we're getting to spells. Now we're playing 3 Sacred Waters in the Sky. So this card is basically like the Rhoda of the deck. You can either, but it's a pretty wonky searcher, because you can go ahead and activate Sanctuary in the Sky straight up from deck. I very rarely do use that, but it comes up sometimes. Let's say my hand's bad and I just need to have access to the Sanctuary. You can do that. You search for any card on activation that includes Sanctuary in the Sky in its text, and then if you activate this card and you control Sanctuary of the Sky, and like I think it's Hyperion, this never comes up. For every Hyperion or the agent monster you control, you gain 500 life points. So it hasn't come up for me, but like you can randomly just win in time with this.
Yeah.
And then while it's in graveyard, you can. This card doesn't activate in grave, but it can banish itself to prevent destruction by battle of any card that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky. So any monster.
Ooh, a replacement ability. That's nice.
Yeah. So it's pretty sweet. And now we're getting to the best card in the deck, in my opinion. Or one of. We're playing 3 Ostinato. This basically is just a 1-card combo, and like it's pretty wild. You know, this just enables so much things, because it's so much better to draw than refrain or couplet, because this is just like this. It's brand fusion. This is just brand fusion. You can activate more than once if you have 2 copies, which is pretty nice. Just be aware that you can, if you're playing Ostinato, you can get belled. So if you go Ash, they go like Ash the first one, you activate the second one, and they go Bell. That's kind of sad. But yeah, this card is like literally the MVP. You don't really have to commit to anything. It's so good. Basically, like you get all your plays, and you don't have to commit to your normal summon. That's pretty much what makes this really good. Then we play the 1 Concerto, search it off couplet. So you search it off a couplet, so you can fuse into Gilberto. If your hand's like kind of wonky, you can go ahead and make Boccia with this if you have the other. So, and then it has a nice effect where like while it's in graveyard, you can shuffle it. If a Melodious fusion monster goes to grave, put it to the bottom of the deck and then draw 1. And be careful. I had a ruling problem where, like, I know as Yu-Gi-Oh players, we like to try to play really fast, like activate put thing in the grave. So be careful. Make sure that this is officially in the graveyard before you attempt to use its effect, because there's a situation where I tried to, there was a problem where this wasn't in grave, or technically it wasn't grave because it was still on field because I just activated it. So you can't you can't do that. You gotta be careful. 1 Sanctuary in the Sky, self-explanatory.
Yeah, the 1 brick that's needed.
Yeah, the 1 needed brick. Now we're gonna get into hand traps. We're only playing 9. Imperm, self-explanatory. It's nice. 3 orange light. We're playing a fairy deck. If you're not playing orange light in a fairy deck, what are you doing?
Literally.
3 ash, self-explanatory. And then last 3 cards, trap cards. 1 divine punishment because it's searchable. It's pretty nice. Then we're also playing Vanadium Reframing because it's also searchable. And then last card is Fallen Sanctuary. So you search these 2 out throughout the combo, and they're just Omni negates since we don't have access to Baron or Savage anymore. So you have to make do with this. But honestly, I think these are better because they can stop Droplet if they don't send Trap, and they can stop Dark Lunamore and a bunch of other board breakers. So that's pretty good. And then this is just like treat it as Sanctuary while it's face up on the field in grave. You activate it to grab any card that lists Sanctuary in this, or any spell trap that lists Sanctuary in the Sky, and you set it on your field on activation. So I just like to do this in draw phase. And then once returned during the first turn, you banish a fairy monster from your graveyard to like negate the effects of a monster card until the end of the turn. So it can be pretty nice. It's like a lingering imperm.
Okay.
So like if my hand is like really bad and it can only go until like 3, I usually just search this and like set it so I at least have something if I get like hand trapped like 3 times. So, all right.
What's the full deck count now?
Full deck count is at 46.
Okay.
You definitely can. This for sure can be optimized I'm really weird with how I build my decks, but there's definitely some room for improvement in deck building. If you can get it closer to 40 would be nice, but I would also be playing Pross, but like the extra deck is so tight, like you're about to see.
Yeah.
Let's get into the extra deck.
Okay.
So we're playing One Moon. This card also new.
It has more than just a pop effect, everybody.
Yeah.
I learned today.
Now, it's really funny that like people are playing this in other decks just to out skill drain.
Yeah.
So that's also a benefit of this deck. So you can like out skill drain. But on summon, you can send a card that lists Sanctuary in the Sky from deck to graveyard. So it's using Majesty Hyperion, the one of purple. Like it's the new Hyperion that's almost from grave. So that can enable some combos, but you can literally send anything. Help. Sometimes you might want to. You can even send the spell card from deck to grave, the Searcher, just so you have like that battle protection if you really needed it, or if your hand's just that goated. One chair beanie for the Venus play, so you can send Venus from deck to grave with this off the Terratops. It's a cost. It's really nice, and this card helps you play around Ogre since the things that it points to can't be destroyed. So I had a guy in my LCQ just go ahead and like try to Ogre my Venus, and I was just like, no. I mean, sure, you can activate it, but you know, you should have known better.
I'll send something else.
Yeah. So then we have IP, really easy to make with all the shine balls, self-explanatory. It's nice.
Please live until another format.
Yeah, that'd be nice. SP, I mean, if your hand like this card's just nice. If you don't know why SP is good, then I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Then we're playing Celestial Nightlord Parshat. This is the Link 3.
Attention, electronic bearings for round 8 are now.
It goes ahead and you can pitch any card from your hand, discard. It's not like you have to send to grave. It's a discard, so you can use it under Shifter. Same thing with Neptune. You can use both of those cards under Shifter. And you search for any card with Sanctuary in the Sky in this text, or if you control Sanctuary, you can search any fairy. So there's some builds that like to search out Christia, which is kind of funny. But personally, I think Christia is a little bit of brick because you have to use Christia a little too early in your combo to make anything meaningful. So that's why I personally don't play it. And the second effect is when fairy monsters leave the field while this card's like face up, you can banish a fairy monster in your graveyard and then summon one from your hand that has a higher level. So like let's say you have Neptune Grave, you link summon for like IP using 2 fairies or even 1 fairy. You can banish the Neptune, like summon Earth or something if you really wanted to, but you can like usually try to go for Destruction Venus by banishing a Shine Ball, and you can bring it back from banish, which is nice. So it's a lot of utility there, but you're mainly only using it for the combo piece to pitch and discard to search for whatever you need in the deck, whether it be a combo piece or the Divine Punishment to get the counter trap, which is really nice, so you can like deal with board breakers really easily. Then we're playing one Appaloosa. Appaloosa is easy. Everyone plays Appo. Everyone plays Appo IP. If you play it, play it.
And she's also a fairy.
Yeah, she's also a fairy. So it will come up with Sanctuary in the Sky. So she won't be able to destroy it by bat, or she won't take any battle damage, I should say. Access code, because this deck's nice. Access code is access code. It's pretty easy to make with Celestial Nightlord Parshat. And yeah, usually only popping 2 cards with this, but between this and Master Hyperion, you're basically popping 4 cards, and if that's not enough, then you have bigger problems to deal with. One Botcha. If you're familiar with Melodious, you know what Botcha is. It just came out in Legacy of Destruction. On summon, when you fuse it, you summon a Melodious card from your deck, and then it also makes it so that Melodious fusion monsters effect activations cannot be negated. You can still like impermanent and stuff. But and when it gets sent to graveyard, you revive one of your Melodious cards in grave. So that's pretty sweet. I think it's a really good card. And with Osanao, you're gonna have them in grave, or you can just use the Refrain and Pendulum Zone once you get it there to ascend. So technically the grave effect is always gonna be live. So you can also play around a lot of hand traps that way. And we're playing Schuberta. It's a thing that you typically summon off of Concerto after you use Osanao. Pretty self-explanatory. Banish 3 cards from graveyards as a quick effect during your play turn. Pretty good. Especially considering Snake Eyes and stuff. You can get rid of their Promethean Princess. Thunder Dragon Colossus for the Nemesis Corridor. how you usually make this with the Nemesis Corridor after you search it off the cube pitches towards the end of the combo after you banish your Neptune from Majesty Hyperion. You just shuffle back the Neptune that you just banished for the Nemesis Corridor, and then you Nemesis Corridor comes out, and then you just bring this out by sending that to grave. So it's pretty self-explanatory. This card's nice, and also what's nice too is that since when Neptune gets banished, it searches Sanctuary, which makes the counter trap live. So that's always going to be nice. So both counter traps are going to be live. So we'll get that in a second. So Cupid Pitch, when it's summoned, it can miss time. When it's summoned, change its level. Usually you usually change it to level 2 or 6. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, burn your opponent for damage of the synchro monster you summon, and then you can search a monster with 600 defense. So that's how you get the corridor, or a Neptune if you really need it. F8 Dawn Dragster. This card's nice. You make it off of Shine Ball and Uranus. It just negates Spell Trap, and if your hand is like really that strong, you'll search for the Uranus, so you can like, instead of making Chaos Angel on the end board, you'll make this. So then we have Visas Amritara. This is the one that searches out the Vanadium Reframing. That's why you make off of this and another Shine Ball, which is pretty sweet. And then you just it's pretty all you really have to say. And remember, Vanadium Reframing, that card, it's live if you control a Synchro monster, but it doesn't get the effect to destroy. It only negates. That's why it's really good against like Dark Ruler or Droplet, if they don't send like a trap or they don't send like Infirm. And so that's kind of important. So there are times where you just want to leave this on field to like destroy a monster or something. But I usually sync this away in the combo to make Master Flare Hyperion. This card's like the best. Master Flare Hyperion has 2 effects, and its first effect is send a card from that lists either Agent or Hyperion from hand deck or extra deck. So this could theoretically copy or a card with Celestial in it, or a card that lists Sanctuary in the Sky in this deck, and copies its effect and gains its original name. And one thing that you need to be aware of is
LCQ competitors.
Alright, so yeah, banish card when they activate a card effect. It has the effect to copy all the cards that it lists. So you usually just copy like Venus or the Destruction Venus. So then it just helps you combo off, and it's a nice thing to end on. And then lastly, just Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel's Chaos Angel.
Yeah, this
and like
out aboard and then be protected.
Yeah, and it's super easy to make because Shine Ball and Majesty Hyperion. And then we'll get into the side. We'll just go through this pretty quickly. Playing 2 Lightning Storm Harpies just for Runic Stun, back row decks. 3 Soul Release. This card sucks. This should be DD Crow, but I LCQ'd with it, and my DD Crow's around.
Hey, still, congrats on getting to Nats with the LCQ.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Thank you so much. Then we play 3 Cosmic because like back row decks and like Tenpai, whatever.
I like the math.
And then 3 Tactics, Stactics. I would play Thrust, but expensive. And then 3 Drop Ball. And that's the list.
Well, thank you very much. Congrats on qualifying for the World Championship Qualifier with this list.
Appreciate it.
Thank you again.
Take it easy, man.